Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. I am your host, Mike Briggs, where we come here every single day and tell you great things that are going on all over the Central Valley. We say we celebrate what's good about the Central Valley. There's so many businesses that you don't even know exist out there, and we're here to introduce you to them. We have a guest today, James Olson from Ring of Fire Nursery. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, you're down in Tulare County. Are you close to Tulare City?
Yes. We're just about a mile east of the city of Tulare, right off of Lover's Lane.
Yeah. We found you, I think, on Instagram or something like that. I tell my interns, go find the most interesting people you can, but something different like than insurance agents and the stuff we have every day. And they found you, and I'm glad they did. It's Ring of Fire Agriculture, and you have a couple things going there. One is it a what do you call a general nursery that people can walk in and buy plants?
Yeah, so we've been a wholesale nursery for many years, mostly focused on the walnut industry. And then about a year ago, we opened up and decided we should open our offerings and start selling retail. So in addition to the walnuts, we now have figs, pomegranates, chotapas, cactus, some yard trees, and this winter we're starting a whole variety of other things. I don't want to say stuff until I actually have propagated it, but we got about 300 different varieties of plants that we're hoping to produce and sell by next spring.
Now, when you say you were started by selling walnuts, you mean the trees?
Yes, walnut trees.
Okay.
My family's been in the walnut nut industry for years, and so I had the walnut nursery since the early 1990s.
Right. Now, what do you call a young walnut tree? A sapling or something like that? Or
so before they're grafted, they're a seedling. After that, we just call them a grafted tree.
Grafted tree. Now, people, I try to explain this to people all the time, and I just don't have the skills to explain it. Every single orange tree, for example, that we have growing in our yard, producing good oranges, those are grafted somehow, some magical technique. And I guess walnuts are the same.
Walnuts are also. So we actually breed our own walnut rootstock here. We take a native walnut from California and cross it with an English walnut, raise that up, and then we'll take whatever cultivar of English walnut, which is the sellable walnut we want, and we'll graft it onto that.
Right. So you get a native, sort of a native tree for the valley that would grow real well here, but the nuts on that tree, if you didn't graft it, might not be that great?
Not so great. They're about the size of like a marble and about 90% shell with a tiny little meat in the middle.
Okay. And somehow magically or through science, not magically, through some sort of science, you're able to take a good thing that you want to produce and graft it into the native tree.
That we are. We have two different ways to do that with the walnuts. One way is in the winter, we'll take a stick like so long of the tree we like, and we'll whittle it so it fits together with the root that's in the ground, tape it together. If we did it right, come spring, they'll start growing. The other way is we can take in the spring, they say June, but really it happens more in May in this climate. We'll take a piece of the bark that has a growing bud of the English tree we want, and we can graft that into the bark of the existing rootstock.
Now, another thing, I mean, I'm asking questions I've always been curious about all my life. When I'm in Fresno, I drive, I see almonds and some pistachios and stuff, but rarely a walnut tree in Fresno. But as soon as you cross into the Tulare County, Visalia, those areas, there's walnuts everywhere. Is there a reason for that?
Basically historical reasons. The walnuts grow well we're kind of on the southern end all the way up to Redding, but there's a lot of infrastructure that's needed for the harvesting of the walnuts. So you don't want to be all that far away from the drying, because when you harvest the walnuts off the mature tree, they really need to go through a dryer within 24 hours of when they come off the tree. And so if there isn't a dryer nearby, you don't really plant walnut orchards there.
Okay. So that reason there's so many walnuts in Tulare County is there's dryers.
Yep, lots of people got in the business this area years ago, and so the equipment got built here, and so we still do it here.
You just solved a long-lasting historical mystery for me. Thanks, James. Now, when you say of an open public nursery, they're not going and buying rhododendrons and marigolds. They're buying tree stock?
Right now we're in trees. We've decided to focus, when we moved this, into woody plants, because that's what we know with the background of walnuts. And then what I saw is a lot of my generation are buying houses, and they aren't so much interested in having a lawn. They're wanting stuff that produces fruit. Right. And then also, as we got less water here, stuff that's drought resistant. So I thought, let me grow some drought resistant plants that produce fruit, like figs and pomegranates, do well here, and I thought this would do well.
Great. Now, and all these you're starting yourself. When I say starting, you're getting them grow out of the ground. You're doing the grafting. All that's done in house, so to speak.
All that's done in house. So I go look for what we call mother plants, is a tree that we like, that we want to produce of all these different species we're interested in. And if I can get that, I'll take either a cutting or a seed or a bud, depending on the type of plant it is, and then we'll grow that up, and when we get enough of them growing, we can multiply it and sell out.
Yeah. So do you actually look for a well-producing tree to harvest your grafts?
Yeah, mostly we take named varieties. These different plants are bred by different people. A lot of them were bred by the UC Davis. The UC system breeds plants. The walnut varieties, the named walnut varieties that are common in this area, all come out of UC Davis. Other times there's selections. For instance, the Franquette variety is a very old variety of walnuts, mostly used for pollination now, was selected from seed, I believe in France, couple few hundred years ago, and so it's known to be good. So if I find a Franquette tree, I have some now, but years ago we find one and go, hey, I want to take a piece of this because it's going to do well as a pollinator for my thing, and produces a nice nut also.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's science. And people, when they go in, hey, I bought a new house, we want to plant a walnut tree or some kind of tree in our backyard, they don't realize how much you've already gone through to get that tree where they're going to buy it and use it and enjoy it.
They really do. It's a whole process to propagate them, and then the plant breeding is a whole other process. And with woody plants, because they grow so slow, the plant breeding process is like a multi-generational product. Because say with walnuts, you really have to grow the tree for about 8 or 10 years before you know if it's a good tree. Yeah. So you can go breed a bunch of walnuts, but unless you have decades of time to put into this, you don't know what you have.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's why you go to an expert. You don't go down to I'm not going to name any stores, but some store that doesn't really. This is not what they're about. This is what you are about. It's all about at Ring of Fire Agriculture. Now, if somebody goes to your website, is it fireag.com?
Fireag.com is our website.
What are they going to find there?
Well, so right now it'll have our contact information. It'll have our location. We're working on adding all of our new products. Right now it's mostly all about walnuts. Yeah. And as I have time, I'm adding the other stuff that we're growing there. And then I'm hoping within the next 6 months to have on there where people can order some of the plants that ship well directly through our website. I could put it on now, but they have to pick up here. But I'm hoping to have some of the stuff we can ship. Some of the like cactus, I can take and package and send in a box and ship. And that way you go to our website and order from there. We aren't there quite yet, but it's in process.
Yeah, I would like to, before I buy cactus, to talk to somebody who knows something about it. You know, what'll do good here, what my outcome. Will it flower? Will it do well here in my region? There's a lot of questions I have that one reason why I do not buy cactus, even though I'd love to have some. Now, if I want to just drive over there, where would I go? Drive to your shop, your business?
Yeah, so we have our offices there on Avenue 248 and Lovers Lane. We're basically on the corner. The actual address is 14065 Avenue 248. We're open from about 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Okay. So somebody is watching now, and they say, well, I want a tree, or I just want to go in and ask questions and find out what I should be doing. They could just go in there?
Yep. Stop by, and we're open. We have our nut sales business here, so always someone with that. And then they ask about plants. It's right behind the store.
Now, we haven't talked much about your nut sales business. So you're harvesting nuts and selling them right there?
Yes, so we grow the crop, and then we harvest it, have it dried and processed, and then get it back and retail it. So we have retail sales of walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and pecans.
Okay, are they in the shell or shelled?
We have the pistachios are in shell, they're roasted, salted in shell. The walnuts and pecans we sell both ways. We sell both in shell and shelled, and the almonds are all out of the shell now. I'm hoping to add in-shell almonds within the next 2 months.
Yeah. I tell you, my family tradition, it may seem crazy to some people, but sitting there at Christmas time, what do you call it, opening the walnuts, hitting them with a little hammer, pulling the nuts out. My dad made fudge every year, and you wanted to pull that walnut out whole without it breaking or cracking, and that was a surprise, so that my dad could take them in the kitchen and chop them into little pieces. So, but yeah, it's a great tradition. We still do that. You know, we go over and help Dad do the walnuts. Getting them ready for the fudge each year. So people, now you guys know where you can buy the walnuts. and
Absolutely.
they'll be locally
Stop by.
grown.
We have them there. We have those for sale online too at a website, nutsofjoy.com.
Oh, nutsofjoy.com. There's another site where you could buy the
Or,
nuts.
yep, that's our nut sales business.
Are you
started them
operating on
separate.
a number of acres?
Yeah, so right now we have my family's property, and we also manage properties. So we're farming on about 1,000 acres.
Oh my
We grow
gosh.
all the nuts we sell except for the pecans. We've not yet planted pecans.
Yeah. And will those grow down there? I guess they would.
They do. They grow well down here. We have some neighbors that grow them. We can get them through the processor. So that's worked well for us.
Yeah. Well, I understand a lot more now about why there's so many walnuts down there and how they graft the trees and stuff like that. What else do you want our viewers to know? We have a couple more minutes.
This is a great place to grow stuff. I see all these yards, and I see a lot of space that could be used better, perhaps,
Yeah.
to produce things for beauty. So don't be afraid to go plant plants and grow things in your yards. It doesn't take that much water, that much time. It can be very, very rewarding.
Every yard has a tree. Why not get a tree that produces something?
Absolutely.
And by the way, if you like a shade tree, a walnut can make a pretty good shade tree, can't it?
They make a great shade tree. You have to have them somewhere where the nuts and leaves coming off of them don't cause a problem.
Yeah.
We also grow a tree called a chiltapa. It's a flowering tree. It's very drought resistant. It makes a great shade tree also and doesn't have quite so much debris under it.
Okay.
Uses a lot less water also.
So instead of just flying off the handle, buying a tree so you can have shade, go talk to James Olson before you buy your tree, and he will get you into the right kind of tree. James Olson, thank you very much for any. You want our viewers to have a phone number, or I guess they could just go to the website that has all the information.
The website's the best way to get a hold of us. And there's forms on there and emails on there. And for either company, that's the way to get a hold of us.
That's the new way. I would way rather go to the website and poke around a little and send a message on the website than to call and disturb someone's day. Thank you, James, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're watching from home, it's James Olson with Ring of Fire Agriculture from Tulare, California. And we sure appreciate your time, James. And I want to have you back again. That'd be really good. It's very informative. So thank you very much, James.
That'd be great. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be here.
All righty. We'll be back with more right after this.